Alright, you guys, so I guess, burning Earth Godzilla came in that I'm going to use as the base for my Cyclops, the Stone Clops, which, if you remember, the head I made is right here. So what I'm going to do, I want this guy to have neck articulation, so I'm going to build a ball joint for it. So over here is like the D. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to take some Warbler and I'm going to make a little cap that matches this this ball joint here, this Mythic Legion's ball joint. This is the head I've usually got on here. And once I do that, we'll glue that cap that I make inside here and then fill the outside with milliput to be able to make something that can fit onto that ball joint right there. And then we'll come over here and recreate that ball joint on this body. So basically we're making a ball joint from scratch that's based off of the Mythic Legion size. And I thought it might look neat if these two could kind of swap back and forth, because that looks kind of neat too, and that might look neat. So it'd be kind of neat. I wanted to have a ball joint on this anyways, and it'll be kind of neat if these two heads can kind of move back and forth. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on making that cap, and I'll show you an update here in just a little bit. Alright, and here we are. So I went ahead and I made that milliput cap over the ball joint. So you can see this is just a plastic cap we've got over that, nice and firm. I'll be able to pull that off here and put that into the Cyclops head, and that'll give us an adaptation to that ball joint. Alright, you guys, so here it is. This is what we're left with. That's just a little imprint, Warbler imprint of that ball joint. And I'm not going to be able to do this right with one hand, but we'll see this for a second. We're going to have that something like that in there. And then we will make that ball joint coming off here. I'm going to glue that in there, and then I'll end up putting a layer of milliput around there to make the head look finished off, where it's able to just snap on the neck here. Alright, I'll start doing a little bit of that, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. So, when I want to convert a vinyl figure into something that can support a hard head ball joint, what I do is I end up using a piece of plastic coat hanger, and this is going to basically act as a spine, and we're going to hot glue this all the length of the body of this Earth Godzilla, so that we've got a little bit still sticking out. And so the hot glue is going to just be puddled along the spine right there, and that's going to basically just create us a backbone. And we'll make a little ball joint on top of that coat hanger, and once we do that, it'll fit perfectly with the little cap that we made. So now it's loose on there, but once we build up the material on that, also using Warbler, it'll fit like a cookie cutter and be able to support the new head. Now this isn't a necessary step, but I am going to do this, so I wanted to show you. I think this actually makes it even stronger, but I've got this little piece of plastic right here that I just cut down, and so when I glue this in there, I'm going to use my heat gun. Well, I mean, this already has some ply to it, to just wedge that in there and stick it right about there. And this is going to just be like a little cork in the neck. And what that's going to do is I'll then be able to put hot glue in this whole area. So we'll have this section right here in the neck that's completely hard plastic then. And that way, when we add milliput on there, sculpting it out, there won't be any give in this area. So we won't have any, you know, problem of the, you know, like the milliput breaking off of the vinyl, because everything will be nice and firm here. So yeah, you don't have to do this step. I think it makes it stronger. Alternatively, you don't have to use a little cap like this. You could just have little pieces, stick little pieces of plastic in here that that catches the hot glue, because if we don't have this cap and we try to fill this little area with hot glue, it's all going to just run down into the body because the body's all hollow. But by having this cap, it'll catch the hot glue and just fill in this area right here. But all right, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you that in just a bit. So we've got that glued in there. You can see the cap is stuck about midway down in the neck. So that cap's now blocking off this whole area. So I'll actually be able to fill the whole neck with hot glue to get a nice solid piece of plastic right here that's going to make this whole neck joint incredibly strong. And if you remember, this rod that we're going to use to make the ball joint is hot glued the entire length of the body. So that is, you know, a nice firm connection. And this is going to just hold everything, you know, really nice and strong here, and give us a nice strong place where we can, you know, sculpt out that neck with the milliput. So our guy here is really starting to take shape. So I've actually done two things since I last spoke to you. I went ahead and glued that into the back of the sculpt. That is our for the ball joint. That's just hot glued in there. And I'll end up putting milliput around that and filling the rest of that in to make the head look nice and clean. And then you can see we're all nice and cured here. The entire neck is filled with hot glue because we had that little plug. So all of the joints here, you know, they all move up and down. That's just not going good right now because I'm doing this at a weird angle and I don't have both of my hands. But rest assured, the arms do move up and down. And next, we will just be making a little Warbler ball onto this peg to be a cookie cutter match for the Warbler hole right here. So that'll be able to pop in and off. And then once we do that, we'll just add a milliput layer around the neck, a milliput layer behind the head to make everything look matchy-matchy. And Mr. Stoneclops here will be ready for paint. All right, talk to you in just a bit. All right, after a little bit of trial and error, I was able to build that joint. And it's a nice, firm connection. See? I've got a little black line marked on it because I'm going to be, you know, putting milliput on this to clean up the neck and sculpt out the neck to match the body and the head. And that's just to make me know where that, so I know where that joint is so that I don't interfere with the connection here. But yep, that's a nice strong joint. And as you can see, it's not loose at all. So I can pose that head in any way I want to with the ball joint. All right, I'll show you an update after I sculpt out the neck. All right, so I need to leave for work here in just a second, but I'm going to add a quick coat of red paint onto that before I head out. All right, so I'm going to do that real quick. All right, you guys, so now the Cyclops, or the Stoneclops rather, his face has been painted red. So he's matching pretty good with the rest of the body right now. What I'm going to do now is start adding some oranges and yellows onto everything. And then once I do that, I'm going to do kind of what the original sculpt was doing. I'll go back over and add, you know, some black dry brushing over it so it looks really like like magma sort of thing, you know, where it's like charred on the outside. It already looks pretty good as it is now, but I want it to be a little bit more three-dimensional with other shades of oranges and yellows instead of just black and red. And I'll also probably, when I redo it, have more black, so it's darker, but you can still see all those colors showing out of it. But all right, y'all, that's just kind of the game plan. I'm going to go ahead and start working on that, and I'll show you an update in a little bit, y'all. All right, thanks for checking it out. All right, so here he is with a little bit of an orange dry brushing over the underside of it. You can see I'm leaving this part red, and now I'm going to add a little bit of yellow down the center here and some markings on the face. And I'll probably add a little bit of other stuff too, but just doing more of those highlights before I finally go over it with black to darken it up, and you know, that'll make everything look really blended. But all right, y'all, I'll show you that in just a bit. All right, so I've added the yellow onto that, so that's how he's looking right now. Now I'm gonna just start adding more black on it to give it that charred look over everything and darken him up. All right, talk to you soon. All right, guys, so this is the final clip of my Cyclops build. Here he is. You can see I ended up making that head out of a coal obsidian head, and then just a crystal agate for the eye. The body is from a Godzilla Earth figure. And you can see I made it to match this pet over here, which is a Cosmic Legion's head on this little Dimetrodon body. And it's just parallel my Ocean Cyclops over here, which was the first one I made, and his little water dragon. And this is just a Gamera Destroyer mix I just recently cooked up. I didn't do any of the how-to videos on this one, unfortunately. Just kind of got carried away with it and built it before I realized I was even getting started on it. But yeah, I thought about just doing like a little short on this guy, but figured I'd just go ahead. There wasn't enough content to justify his own video, so he's getting added in to the end of this Cyclops video. And I will say this guy is for sale on my eBay right now. None of the Cyclopses or their pets are, but this guy is, so if you want to check him out, that link's in my bio. But anywho, this is just what we got right now. This is the second of many more of these different Cyclops races to come. But yeah, thanks so much for being a part of this. I really appreciate all my followers. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And thanks for hanging out with Kitbash's Crypt. All right, y'all.